Typically we see mid-gen refreshers about the 3 to 4 year mark, so right now would actually be an appropriate time for some sort of announcement that these things are coming out. Since the year 2000 with the original PS1, Sony and Microsoft have done some sort of mid-gen console update for their systems, whether that be the Xbox One S or the PlayStation Pro, making whatever the current gen was better in some way, either a smaller form factor or it's got better hardware to it, more storage space. And we've seen a mid-gen refresher here for the Xbox Series S that just came out September 1st. Now this is a very simple upgrade, and I hesitate to even call it a mid-gen refresher because all they did was expand the storage that is natively inside and change the color. But because game companies have the history of putting out a Pro model or a mid-gen refresher, which Xbox actually did with the Xbox One X, effectively making it a Pro version of your standard Xbox One, a lot of people are asking, okay, well when are we gonna see the Xbox Series X Pro? And Microsoft has actually already responded to this. So right here we're looking at an article on VGC, and Big Boss Phil Spencer is saying that the Series X Pro is just currently not needed, and I absolutely agree with him. He says that it's not a priority for Microsoft, it's not the feedback that they're getting, and they're pretty set on the hardware that Xbox already has. Of course, with the current game generation, COVID-19 really messed up a lot of production things, and a lot of people believe that's why we haven't seen this kind of mid-gen refresher already. But I am personally very happy to hear Phil say that they are not going to do a Pro version of the Series X, because effectively what you have by Microsoft is your base version of your Xbox, which is of course your Xbox Series S, and then your Xbox Pro model is the Series X. There is already an Xbox Pro model for this generation, and it is the Series X. And I think a lot of people are like me, where they would actually be upset if they released a Pro version of the Series X, when the console itself hasn't even seen its full potential yet. Hey, if you guys like these videos and you find them informative and helpful, take a second and consider hitting that little subscribe button down there. It really does help out the channel and spread the word. Not every single game is running at 4K 120 frames per second. The hardware is not maxed out. I don't believe the capabilities of the console has even been tapped yet. And other than giving it some more storage space natively and maybe making it a little slimmer, there's not an improvement that is needed for this console. And honestly, I don't even think slimming the Xbox Series X down would be that big of a deal. It wouldn't make me buy another one just because of the form factor. So here in 2023, 3 years after the Series X and S have come out, game developers are actually still making some games for the Xbox One, which means that not even everybody has even tapped into the full potential of the Xbox Series X. And until developers stop releasing games on last gen stuff, there's no reason to do a newer gen console right now as a refresher. And I mentioned COVID-19 messing up a lot of the Series X, especially productions. A lot of Xbox players still have a hard time finding an Xbox Series X brand new on the shelf, which means that Microsoft is still having issues producing enough Xbox Series X's to meet demand. I personally believe that the Series X doesn't need a Pro version. I honestly think that's just something kind of stemmed on by Sony because of the imminent release of their PlayStation 5 Pro version. And of course, by announced, I mean another internet leak that is supposedly going to crush the Xbox Series X. It's going to do 4K ray tracing, it's going to have a processor that is well over the 3.6 GHz, and supposedly around 23 teraflops of processing raw power. And of course, this is all just a rumor. But it's a rumor that has some logical base to it, not because of the specs, but because Sony has traditionally put out a Pro model with the PS4, and they have a history going all the way back to their very first console of doing mid-gen refreshers. Typically we see mid-gen refreshers about the 3 to 4 year mark, so right now would actually be an appropriate time for some sort of announcement that these things are coming out. So if Microsoft was going to do a Series X Pro, what would I personally want to see in there? Well, the very first thing I would want to see is more dang storage space. I would want to see a minimum of 4 terabytes SSD storage in that there console. Of course, a higher teraflop processing power, more RAM, and a better CPU would be nice. However, the main thing I think that Microsoft could do would be offer more storage. I don't think Microsoft needs a Pro version, and they shouldn't put one out just because Sony is supposedly going to do it. Well, thank you guys for tuning into the channel. Let me know what you think about Microsoft and putting out a Pro version of their Xbox Series X. If you guys like my videos, you can check out another one of them right here.